Hey friends, we're learning about South America this week because that's where we're traveling, that's where we packed our suitcase, and that's where we're going, so get ready. This is the ABCs of Countries by Desgo Gorman, and this is South America. Ah, ah, ah. Ah is for Argentina. Wait a second. Ah is for Argentina? Well, ah is kind of funny in this word. With an ah and a together, they make R. Argentina is the 8th largest country in the world. It has glaciers, penguins, a salt lake, and the most southerly city in the world. You can see it here on the map in red. And A is for animals. South America's animals include giant tortoise, tamarin, tapir, sloth, llama, and giant anteater. Anteater. B is for Bolivia. Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni is the world's largest salt flat. The region has flamingos, a train cemetery, and a hotel made of salt. So look, you can see it in red over here. It's kind of in the middle of South America. And B is for Brazil. Brazil is the largest country in South America and the 5th largest in the world. They love football, which is not our football, it's soccer. And they love having barbecues outside. So you can see them in the red over here in the bottom corner. That is Brazil. This is K. Now this again is kind of silly, and it's Chile. So when you put a K and a H together, it makes a Ch sound. K and H together make Ch. And that's Chile. Chile is home to the driest place in the world, the Atacama Desert. It also has one of the longest coastlines. So you can see it in red on the map. It's so long, it almost looks like a string of spaghetti. And K is for Colombia. Colombia is the 2nd most megadiverse country in the world, which means it has so many animals because it has the rainforest inside of it. And it has about 10% of the plant and animal species in the whole world. So if you were to take a 10 bar and you said this was our world, you're looking at your 10 bar right now with all 10 beads on it, you would count one bead, and that one bead would be all the animals in Colombia, and then the rest would be all the animals left in the world. D is for dinosaur. Several significant dinosaur fossils have been found in Argentina. They include Argentinosaurus, the largest dinosaur ever discovered, and the Gigantosaurus, a carnivore that is bigger than the Tyrannosaurus rex. Then we have Ecuador, and this is one of Miss Alex's favorites because it has the Galapagos Island on it. And Ecuador is named after the equator, which is an imaginary line that runs around the planet, kind of like a belt, and it tells us how close we are to the sun. So where that belt is where you can be the closest to the sun on Earth. Ecuador's Mount Chimborazo is the closest place to outer space. So if you stood up on that mountain, you would be as close to the outer space as you could be. Is for football. Football is a big part of the culture in South America. It is the national sport in almost all countries. So football, again, is not our kind of football that has yard lines and touchdowns. This is football as in soccer, as we call in America, but it's football in South America. G is for Guyana. Guyana is home to the largest single drop waterfall, which means there's one waterfall that drops so far down that there's nothing higher than it. And also one of the largest types of eagle, the harpy eagle. Is for hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is a form of electricity that can power your house, but it's not the kind that you get from a battery. It's from water. So you turn the water, and as you turn the water, then it makes electricity, and you can power your cities that way. And it's a way of making energy without hurting the environment. Is for insects, and we've learned all about those. Among South America's many insects are the tarantula, which we learned is an arachnid, the blue morpho butterfly, and the jewel caterpillar, praying mantis, and grasshopper. So these are all pretty cool. We've learned about most of these on this page. J is for jungle. The Amazon rainforest is a jungle and rainforest, and that makes up more than half of the world's rainforest. So again, if you took the 10 bar and then you had a 5 bar underneath it, then that would show you that the 5 beads in your 10 bar, that's how many jungles that they would have in the whole of the Amazon rainforest. So the Amazon rainforest is super big. Imagine you had a pie, you cut it down the middle. Half of that pie is just the Amazon rainforest, and the rest of the pie is the rainforest all over the world. So there's a lot of animals, a lot of different kinds of animals, and a lot of trees. Is for king penguin. A small colony of king penguins has been established in Chile, and it is the only one outside of the subantarctic island. So king penguins are normally only in cold areas, but this one wants to live in Chile. Is for a lagoon. Famous lagoons in South America include Bolivia's Red Lagoon and the sand dune lagoons in Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil. So a lagoon is kind of like a body of water that is one, you can go kind of deep in it, as you can see, and there's multiple. So let's count how many are on this page. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's how many birds on this page? 1, 2. And what kind of bird are they? A flamingo. Is for Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is an ancient Incan settlement. So Incan is a type of people. So Incan means that it was a group of people that lived here. So they built it up on this mountain. Can you imagine living up here? And it's built high up in the Andes mountains of Peru. So you can see all the mountains around it, and that's a particular line of mountains that goes through Peru and Chile and a few other countries, and it has trees and other cities like this. But this one is called Machu Picchu. Is for the Nazca Lines. Nazca Lines are a group of shapes and designs carved into the Nazca Desert in Peru. So Nazca is a desert, but it's also a type of art or line. So as you can see here, have you ever seen lines like this? So these lines are something that someone carved into the desert, and they probably used a sharp tool, and it says that it survived the windless desert for thousands of years. So what's a windless desert? It means there's no wind. And thousands of years, that's 1,000 cube right there. You can imagine it in your mind. Is for observatory. An observatory is a location used to observe outer space, and Chile has become the astronomy capital of the world. Do you see how many satellites they have down here? You'll have to take your time and count them. But that means that they observe space, and that means that they observe space more than any other place in the world, and it's home to 3 of the most powerful telescopes. So that means that they can look through this telescope and it will show them what's in outer space. And this is kind of like a picture of what you can see here. Is for Paraguay. Despite not having any coastline, which means that it's in the middle of South America, Paraguay is nicknamed the land of water because it has powerful rivers and it gets most of its electricity from hydroelectric dams. Remember? Hydroelectric, that was for and that gave all of our cities power without having to use like batteries or oil or different things that would give us light or heat. And is also for Peru. Peru has 3 distinct regions, and that's called the coast, the jungle, and the mountains. It has the anaconda, it has other types of snakes. People go sandboarding instead of snowboarding. They have dunes, which are kind of a mountain of sand, and a rainbow mountain. Do you see this gorgeous mountain over here that has the p on it? It looks almost like rainbows stacked on top of each other, but that's a whole mountain. It's different layers of sand and sediments that change colors over time. Qua is for Quito. Well, they spell it Quito, but it's Quito probably. Quito is the closest capital city in the world to the equator, and on 2 days of the year, it's possible to have no shadow at all. So can you imagine looking down at the ground and knowing that there wouldn't be a shadow there 2 days out of the year? Is for river. The Amazon River is the longest and widest river in the world, and it holds more water than all 7 of the biggest rivers combined. So you can see it from space. You can see it here on the globe at the bottom. You can see all the rivers that branch off of it. S is for Suriname. Suriname is the smallest country in South America, and over 90% of its land is covered in rainforest. So that means that most of where you would go in Suriname is trees, animals, rainforest, greenery. And I'm probably not pronouncing that right. It might be Suriname. But I would just ask that if you know how to pronounce it, go ahead and send me an email or a text because I would love to know. Is for treats. Ooh, our favorite. South America produces much of the world's sugarcane, which to no surprise helps us make most of our dessert treats. And they also make things called alfajores, helado, and suspiro limeño. So I don't know what these are called, but I'm sure that someone has some awesome recipes out there that you guys could look up and maybe even make at home. Is for Uruguay. Every single house in Uruguay has its own name. Uruguay is the smallest country to win the Football World Cup, which has won twice. So it's won the Football World Cup twice, which means that it's beat all the soccer teams of the world twice. And that means that each house has its own name. So can you imagine naming your house something? You would have to come up with something and then stick to it for a long time because you can't let your friends get confused. Maybe you and your parents can come up with a name for your house. Is for Venezuela. Venezuela's Angel Falls is the tallest waterfall in the world. Its scenery has appeared in multiple popular movies. So this is the tallest waterfall in the world. And the other one is called a single drop waterfall, and that one means that there's no stops on the way, there's no other waterfalls around it. It's one stop from the top all the way to bottom, kind of like a slide, whereas this waterfall has almost 2 slides coming down and another smaller slide. So it's not the same thing, but they're very, very tall. This is for wetlands. A wetland is an area of land covered by water, and the largest wetland in the world, the Pantanal, spans across Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. So the Pantanal is a wetland, and it's a big wetland that covers 3 different countries, Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. And you can see here that there's a jaguar in the water, and the jaguar will actually hunt these little alligator-looking animals called caiman. And so they'll grab them, either they'll jump from the land or a tree and catch them and eat them. X is for Xray fish. So we'll say X is for Xray fish. Found in South America, the Xray fish has translucent skin, which means you can see right through it. You can see all its organs. And this helps it hide from predators, so it's a type of camouflage. And it is one of several tetra fish with this feature. So it's a type of tetra fish. And you can see straight through. So you can see its whole backbone here, and you can see straight through it. So if you're a fish that doesn't have really good eyesight, or if you're moving quickly and swimming, then you wouldn't even see this fish. You would kind of just see a blur of maybe a little bit of red at the tail, or just a spot at the eye. Is for yarn. Yarn is spun thread used for knitting and weaving, and it is used to make traditional South American clothes like ponchos, chulos, and polleras. Sorry. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but I'm trying to do my best, just like we always do in Primary 1. So these kind of clothes are super fun and super soft. Maybe when we get back to school, I can bring you some of mine. I have a few headbands from there that are quite beautiful. And you can tell they have different shapes. So they have like a diamond shape. They also have like X shape or X shapes. And they have fish and animals and lots of different colors. Z is for zebra. Traffic wardens in the Bolivian city of La Paz dress as zebras to help people use the zebra crossings. So instead of a crosswalk, like we call at school, you go through the crosswalk to cross the street and it tells you where you can walk safely. They call it a zebra walk or a zebra crossing because the stripes look like a zebra. And so then they're people or the traffic guard or the people that will direct traffic or help people cross the street will wear zebra costumes on top of the zebra crossings and help people cross the street. Isn't that silly? I think that's a perfect way to end our ABCs of South America. Thank you so much, friends, for listening.